We Are Better Together, the channel created to put the value back into relationships. I'm your host, CRJ. Let's get into it. As always, the channel is created to put the value back into relationships. So when I see or hear people taking the value out of relationships, I'm going to call them out. And in today's show, I'm calling out a particular female, a famous female, a household name. She's someone who made her fame and fortune in the world that mostly men play in. Who am I talking about? I am talking about Danica Patrick, NASCAR driver. NASCAR is a men's sport, period. But she played in it and she was very successful. She won. She did very well. And she parlayed that into future success in marketing and commercials. She's advertised for many big companies and she's very rich. And she's also very single. My challenge with Danica is an interview that she did a couple of weeks ago, actually on her show with a fellow YouTuber, a gentleman, a Canadian gentleman by the name of Rich Cooper. He has a channel, a men centric channel. He's also written a book called The Unplugged Alpha. And she said some things that were a little alarming. And that brings the alarms to me because my goal is to put the value back in relationships. And so when I see someone with a big microphone, someone who is clearly saying things that will keep us single, I got to speak up on it. I got to talk about it to help you. Not worried about Danica. She has $80 million. She's going to be fine. That's her net worth. Because of that, it probably will make her a little challenged in finding a significant other. Because unfortunately, there's a thing called hypergamy. What's that? No, I didn't make that up. That's a scientific word basically describing how women choose a suitable mate. Men don't have that. We could care less when it comes to choosing a suitable mate. We will choose the CEO. We'll also choose the girl who works at Subway. Nothing against people who work at Subway. But women don't work that way. They're not wired that way. When a woman makes or has become a certain level, if she has a degree, she's looking for a man who has a degree or better. If she makes 50K a year, she wants a guy who makes 60K. If she makes 100K, she wants a guy who makes 110K. And if she's worth $80 million, well, she probably wants someone who's worth 85 million. And so that makes it challenging, of course, because how many men in her age bracket in her part of town have $80 million plus and who are looking for someone like her? She did say in the interview that she doesn't really want kids. So, of course, that's something that when you look at men who have money and wealth and fame, they want to leave legacies. And so they are looking for someone to provide that for him. And a man who is in his 40s is still clearly able to produce children. But what's more challenging is during the interview, some of the things she said, a little alarming, I should say. And so I'll play them now so you can hear them and you tell me, maybe I'm wrong.
Ratio of disagreements that need to happen in a relationship. And,
Is there?
I don't know what your thoughts are on Jordan Peterson, but he'll talk about that too. You don't want it easy. You want some level of challenge. That is required for the relationship to be strong. You don't want a pushover. Do you? Do you want a pushover girl?
I don't want to come home to a disagreeable, bossy, bitchy woman. I want to come home to a loving woman.
Of course, a woman wants a loving man, but you don't. You can't tell me that you want a woman to make 1,000 concessions for you and that you'd still respect her.
I would.
For what?
Because she's not a man. Men and women are different. Remember that. We talked.
He clearly said to her that he would not want to come home to a bossy, bitchy woman. And I think it's safe to say that most men feel that way. And she clearly looked surprised. Like, what do you mean? Why would you want it easy? Why would you want someone to give you concessions? Why would you want that? And he clearly said, I would. And it's safe to say that most men would. I think what's most alarming is the expression on her face of just disagreement. If a woman says to us that I'm looking for a man who's stable with a job, I'm not going to disagree back and say, well, why would you want that? That's what you want. That's what you like. Peace is what we like.
Because she's not a man. Men and women are different. Remember that. We talked about that before. Men and women are different. Just because you want, see, I think the great lie that a lot of women have subscribed to when they're drunk on this Kool-Aid is they've been told to behave like men. Well, you have to be somewhat disagreeable. You have there's a certain ratio because Jordan Peterson
Really not.
said
That's
so.
not true. That's not true.
Is it?
It's not true. That's just called autonomy.
Is it though?
Yeah, absolutely. Because no two people are identical.
Right.
It's
But
not like we could all just.
As she continued to argue with him on the facts. The alarming part about it, like I said before, is that she is famous and she's had access to men and to resources and to things that most women have not. And the fact that she does not understand that is alarming. The fact that she thinks that you have to be a little aggressive, you have to be a little challenging, you have to not give them their way all the way, to think that that's what's needed for a strong relationship. Well, it clearly isn't, because she's single. And she might be single for a long time with that mentality, and for a very long time because of hypergamy. I don't care about Danica. Danica's worth 80 million. She'll be fine. I care about you. I care about the regular women out there who are looking for a man. I care about the regular man out there who's looking for a partner to get on one knee for. And when the value isn't there, it won't happen. And clearly, the value is not there if I, as a man, have to deal with that. There's already enough that's on our shoulders. We don't need to make it worse. This is when the values decrease and the relationships decrease. Like I said before, when I see things, I'm going to call them out. My goal here is to put the value back into relationships, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do so. If you change your mind, you can change your life. And that's the whole purpose of We Are Better Together. I'm CRJ.